Hi, my name is Jay Sabra and I'm the founder of Executive Leap. I created this series to help people understand how AI is reshaping the job market and society in general. And today I want to talk about what do you do when you're feeling hopeless with the rise of AI taking all of the jobs, when you see the news and you're like, what's the point? Whether you're a fresh graduate who's struggling to find your first job or you're a senior techie who is struggling to find a place for your skills and experience in the new job market. And I'm going to give you a couple of practical steps for how you can reinvent yourself and find a place for yourself in the new world. Before we get into this, I want to give you some context about myself and why I'm speaking to this, right? So as an ex-engineer, I worked for 10 years in the tech space as an engineer, project manager, and solutions architect. And I quit my job in 23 and decided to start my venture. And Executive Leap is all about helping tech leaders learn how to use emotional intelligence to make more income in the age of AI. And the other day I was talking to someone at a cafe and she asked me, what do you do? And I told her, I have no fucking idea. I feel so lost. And sometimes I feel like this, and that's okay. But she said to me, hey, you're not alone. I see so many people who are lost these days. And I was like, well, tell me more. And she was like, I know two young people from my family who, because of what they see, how the state of the world is, one of them decided to drop from high school, don't want to continue education. And the other one just keeps to themselves, doesn't go out, doesn't know how to enjoy culture and how to enjoy music and all that. We started talking about the difference in generations. But really, the biggest takeaway for me was how this generation is being shaped by the current state of technology, how the constant use of social media and looking at the news, and we're consuming all these negative information and news is destroying our hope and is destroying our vision for the future. And we're like, what's the point? Like, why do I have to go and get a job or even try to do it because all the companies are laying people off? Or why do I get to enjoy even my time with friends? We talked about the importance of assimilating culture, like having love for music or film or any form of any art form is a great way to keep us inspired and keep us connected and have fun and enjoy time with different people. And to me, this is a great catalyst to make connections and explore new projects. Like I met some of the best connections that I have where I landed amazing projects that I worked on by doing something like that. I was just doing yoga on a rooftop and I met one of the CEOs that I ended up working with and creating an amazing work experience together. So none of this exists right now, and it's all because we're always looking at the negative news and what's happening. And the truth is, it's bad, right? It's not great. We've been in better time. We've had it really good in the 90s and the 2000s growing up. We had some awesome times and we probably didn't appreciate it as much as we do right now. And hey, it's not looking good. It's not looking great. But what can we do? First of all, we want to understand that the resilience is built in these times, and you want to be able to stay positive and look for ways to develop yourself. So what are the two most important things to do in these difficult times? And for me, as an HSP, I've been through so many adversity in life, and maybe a small event can affect me deeply because I have a great sensitivity and a great capacity for emotion, not to toot my own horn or describe it in a grandiose way, but this is the only way that I can describe it. When you're a sensitive person, you feel emotions 10x compared to how others feel them. So for me, losing a family member or experiencing a breakup, it can be so much more painful than compared to how my brother experiences it, right? So these experiences have always been very different for me and much more intense. And so what do you do when you're feeling like this? Like when you're feeling so bad, so hopeless, and you feel like it's so painful that you can't do anything and you're feeling stuck. To me, my response has always been to to look inwards. So over the years, I've learned that every adversity that I'm experiencing and every pain that I'm experiencing in life is here to teach me something about myself. And there's always a choice. A lot of people choose to escape from these lessons, like they try to run away from that through partying, through drugs. I think a lot of people have this addiction to social media right now. Like, it's better if you go party. Like, if you're addicted to partying, it's an extrovert thing. You might end up meeting people, but even that can be destructive sometimes because it gets you addicted to drinking and drugs and so on. So we have all these addictions. So we choose to run away and escape from that. But when you choose to look inwards and lean into the lessons and learn something about yourself, that's where the power comes, and that's where the gold is discovered. And you start to learn more about yourself, and you start to ask the bigger questions like, why am I here? Why did I create this experience for myself? Why did I choose to lose this job or end up losing this job or this relationship? Or why is the world like this? When you start to ask these questions about whatever pain that you're experiencing right now, you can start finding leads or clues as to where the answer lies. And I'm not going to tell you what book to read or what podcast to watch and to find these answers. Every person has their own path, and it's a personal kit for you. So whatever you feel resonates with you, whatever book that you feel calls you and it feels like something that you're curious about, or a podcast that's talking about a topic that you're curious about, these are usually signs that are telling you this is the path to follow. And you want to follow that. So you try and learn from people who have been through similar experiences, who have been able to overcome the challenges that you are facing, and you listen to that. But never let anyone tell you, oh, these are the steps to follow. The key from learning is to learn about yourself and what you prefer and what you don't prefer, and what works for you and what doesn't work for you, because what works for you might not work for someone else and vice versa. So this is the main idea of learning about yourself. And this is so important because it develops your capacity to experience pain and your capacity to go through adversity, and it teaches you more about yourself. What kind of person am I? Am I a sensitive person? Am I more driven towards being around people? Am I energized being around people? This job, what I was doing in my career, does this energize me? Does this drain me? You gotta learn about yourself and start to understand what is it that really excites you and interests you in this chapter of your life, and you start to follow that step by step. And it's never something big. It's never quitting my tech career and moving to Hollywood to pursue my dream in filmmaking. It rarely happens this way. It's usually small baby steps that you take towards something that you're really interested in, and you start learning more about yourself. And when you learn about yourself, you learn about the world and what the reality of the world is. And I will continue to do videos about this and what my self-discovery journey taught me about myself as well. Now, as you do this, there's also an element of learning practical skills, and this is the other side of it. So it's not just enough to pursue your inner discovery and learn about yourself and the world. I've seen so many geniuses who know so much and know everything, know all the conspiracy theories, but then when you put them in a real world situation, they're not capable of functioning. And I've been one of those people myself. And sometimes I said, I wish I was stupid so I can actually operate in the world. I don't want to be this smart genius who's spit out on the sidelines and no one cares about, and people just ask you questions about stuff and you can talk about it, but actually you haven't been able to do anything in your life to show for it. And that's the worst position to be in. So this is where practical application of your knowledge and skills comes in. So you want to always take your knowledge into the real world and apply it, whether it's by talking to people, learning how to sell your skills yourself, whatever that is. And that's something founders struggle with. They spend years working on a product and developing so many ideas and features, and then they go out, the first person to talk to try and sell their company, they just mumble through it and they're not able to sell the other person on it. And then they realize building the product was the easy part. So you gotta learn how to talk to people, how to interact in social situations, sell yourself as a potential date, as a potential partner, as a potential employee, whatever it is. That skill colors everything that you do, whether it's in relationships, sales, business, work, career, whatever. So practical skills. And also now more than ever, it's easier to learn technology than any other time in history. With the power of AI, you can learn how to use technology the right way. So if you're a coder and now you're like, oh, well, AI can do all of that. AI still needs a co-pilot. It needs a human to direct it and tell it, okay, build this component this way so we can integrate it with this other component this way. So you still need to know the fundamentals of building software. Software development lifecycle, for example, and DevOps, these are still very much needed, because a lot of the mess that we're seeing right now in the tech industry is because a lot of people are just vibe coding stuff without really adhering to best practices and the fundamentals of building quality software. And we're going to see more disasters coming because we're going to have to learn about this. It's not just, hey, telling AI, prompting AI to build some stuff and just go to the gym and come back and find the finished picture. No, you gotta co-pilot it, you gotta look for any bugs, you gotta test, and you gotta prep before you ship to production. So there's so much to learn in this pipeline. There's so much for you to learn. You can either learn building skills for Claude, for example, or how to program those skills. You can learn how to sell AI products. You can learn about these AI products, what they do, and you can sell them. So you don't need any technical experience in that sense. So there's a whole spectrum of ways that you can reinvent yourself. But the thing is, when you are hopeless and you're trying to approach it from a hopeless place, of course you ain't gonna think creatively because your creativity is blocked. And this goes back to the personal development aspect, where you gotta have a positive attitude about the adversity that you're going through, so you can repackage it, reframe it in a way that helps you look differently in the world and say, there is hope for me. Look, I've been in these situations and I always say to myself, hey, there are people making billions of dollars in the war right now. Like imagine a weapons contractor selling to the US or any number of countries that are at war. Imagine how much money they are making, right? This is horrible. Like, why does this person get to make so much money and you don't? And you're out to create something good for the world. So you can either say, oh, this is how the world is. It's so unfair. The evil people are making so much money and we are just left on the side. Or you can say, well, fuck that. Like, why does that person get to be rich and I don't? I know I'm working on something good for myself, for my family, for society. So I'm going to continue my battle, continue climbing my mountain, learn about myself, learn about the world, and learn how to apply those skills, because that's how the weapons contractor operates. They know how to apply the practical skills in the real world. They've mastered that. Or the AI companies, they're making so much money in the age of all companies adopting AI and deploying AI solutions and even weaponizing AI as well. So those people are making so much money in that because they know how to apply their practical skills. So you learn something from them and apply that in your own world.